Lesson 322. I can give up, but what was never real. Welcome to the Qigong support for A Course in Miracles students. My name is Judith and this is the Lucid Mind Center, a virtual center for retraining the mind, which I started back in 2010 after the first round of A Course in Miracles. And for me, the Course in Miracles is one of the strongest mind training tools which we have as a humanity. About 2 years later, after I finished the first round of A Course in Miracles, I discovered Qigong. It's the first time I actually heard of the Qigong and actually tried an exercise. It was about in 2012, I think. And I remember the very first time when I tried it, this was part of my Reiki master training, I instantly fell in love with it because I could really feel the chi, I could feel the life force energy. Since 2021, I am teaching Qigong, and ever since I started teaching it, I realized how useful this could be for Course in Miracles students to actually understand the Course in Miracles better and integrate it into their awareness, understanding the role of the body. Because many of us Course in Miracles students often dismiss the body and forgot that this body is an excellent tool, especially as the Course in Miracles is pointing out in the later lessons of the Course in Miracles workbook. And the reason why this is called Qigong support is because for each one of those Course in Miracles lessons, I have recorded a Qigong class which is suitable for you to meditate on while doing Qigong. I'm going to give you more instructions at the end. Let's begin reading our lesson now. Lesson 322. I can give up, but what was never real. I sacrifice illusions, nothing more. And as illusions go, I find the gifts illusions try to hide, awaiting me in shining welcome and in readiness to give God's ancient message to me. His memory abides in every gift that I receive of Him. And every dream serves only to conceal the self, which is God's only Son, the likeness of Himself, the Holy One who still abides in Him forever, as He still abides in me. So the self abides in God and the self abides in me. Just to consider that. And every dream serves only to conceal the self, which is God's only Son, the likeness of Himself, the Holy One who still abides in Him forever, as He still abides in me. So the one which is within the thought, the mind of God, is the one which is within my mind. It is the one, Christ, which is within God and is also within me. It is within my awareness. So I have to choose to see that. I have to choose, or what we want to do here is we want to find it, become aware within that self, which seems to be separate from God, when in reality we are within God at all times, and the Holy Christ is the Christ itself, that Son of God is within us, and we can choose to expand it into this awareness, into this pocket of darkness which I have been telling you about, the pocket of darkness where we're looking inside. But it's also that pocket of darkness which is the field of perception, which is your field of influence, where you observing yourself to be separate from everything else. This is because this is your field of perception. And remembering that God and the Holy Son is within you and also around you. And this is where this interesting field of perception and the energetic field, that like a torus around us, comes into importance, to understand that there is that central channel within you which is connecting you to Source, and it's also connecting you to that space or that field which is around that field of your perception, but also within that field of perception, and that you are filling that field of perception with whatever you believe to be your truth. Let's see what the prayer says. In Qigong, I'm going to ask you to read the idea and the prayer and to meditate on that idea and prayer. And also, if you're doing a standing Qigong class, to keep this idea in mind, and every time you breathe in, you kind of bring it each time deeper in into your awareness. By the way, if you're the first time doing this class together with me, I have recorded 2 Qigong classes on explaining how Qigong can help you as a Course in Miracles students. You can find the links below in the description. So let's read the prayer. Father, to you all sacrifice remains forever inconceivable, and so I cannot sacrifice except in dreams. As you created me, I can give up nothing you gave me. What you did not give has no reality. What loss can I anticipate except the loss of fear and the return of love into my mind? The return of love into my mind. This is our whole purpose. The entire Course in Miracles is about removing the obstacles in our mind to love's presence. It's because we are love. God is love. God is light. And what we are doing with this whole exercise is we are removing the obstacles. We are getting rid of it. And that again is why I believe, why for me Qigong is so incredibly effective. And the more I learn about it, the more I see the symbiosis between those two teachings, if you will. Because in Qigong, the Chinese ancient shamans, they have observed that negative emotions and virtues of the 5 elements, they are attached to different parts of the body. And the way we have figured out that those negative emotions are attached to this body is because they were observing, where do I have the problem when I'm in this particular state of mind? For example, I have got a little sciatica, and I have got pain in my right hip. The sciatica is felt in the lower back, and according to Chinese medicine, the lower back, it is ruled by the element of water, which is also associated with the kidneys and the bladder. And water is where fear is stored. So I have got my fear is on the right side and on the right hip. So, and then the kidneys, you've got a left kidney and the right kidney. And the right kidney is about the willpower, about pushing too hard, whereby the left kidney is about the willpower of saying, wait. And we need to have the wisdom to know, when do I act and when do I not act? And this is all stored in the kidneys. So you've got fear, inner peace, willpower, this is all there. So when we are experiencing fear, we lose the access to our wisdom and our serenity and also our inner peace. And I find it very fascinating how they have been observing this, meditating on all this, and then put it into a system and transmitted it to us. And the 5-element theory, it's called Wuxing. It became popular about 2,500 years ago and has been transmitted to us, and now we have got the possibility to unite it. So there is definitely some kind of fear which I need to release. And the body is telling me, you are carrying some fear there, some future fear and other issues which are going to be revealing themselves to me. But the body is actually kind of telling me, that there is something I need to deal with, which has got to do with that right hip, and it's got to do with that sciatic nerve in my right leg. So instead of blaming or instead of feeling guilty or something, it's actually just to look at this and say, okay, what is it that I have to learn? What is it that I have to understand, which my own body is bringing me the message. And of course, I can give up what was never real, is that you want to give up those negative thoughts, the stagnation, the blockages, which are not allowing the life force energy to flow through your body freely. So when you identify a problem in a particular area, you want to do what it takes to release this particular stuckness, this particular blockage, to allow the virtue to be uncovered and bring you back to who you truly are, bring you back to the understanding that you are the holy child of God. So whatever you are giving up here in this world, this is nothing real, because that what is real you cannot actually give up. So with this idea in mind, let's read the lesson one more time. I can give up but what was never real. So that means I cannot give up anything that is real. The only thing I can give up is that which is not real. I sacrifice illusions, nothing more. And as illusions go, I find the gifts illusions try to hide. You see? So it's the fear which is trying to hide the inner peace. It's that sciatica which is trying to hide my joy and my peace and my trust in life, in the future. It's actually, as we learned a few lessons ago, when we give up the past, the future looks different. And I'm obviously holding on to some sort of past, which I'm not letting go. And it's creating this discomfort in my hip. Or some days it's better than others. But when I'm becoming aware of it, then it triggers a reconsideration in my mind. And that is what this message is for me. That I have to learn something. I have to allow myself to stop and reconsider, how do I let go of this pain which is not useful for me. I sacrifice illusions, nothing more. And as illusions go, I find the gifts illusions try to hide, awaiting me in shining welcome and in readiness to give God's ancient message to me. And this is like I always say, in Qigong, I always say that the negative emotion, they're hiding the virtues which are behind those emotions. Like I said, in the kidneys, it is ruled by the water, it is fear and insecurity and not knowing what to do, which is hiding inner peace and access to the willpower. His memory abides in every gift that I receive of him, and every dream serves only to conceal the self, which is God's only Son, the likeness of himself, the Holy One, who still abides in him forever, as he still abides in me. And the prayer goes like this: Father, to you all sacrifice remains forever inconceivable, and so I cannot sacrifice except in dreams. As you created me, I can give up nothing you gave me. What you did not give has no reality. What loss can I anticipate except the loss of fear and the return of love into my mind? And that is why we need to let go of fear. And fear is the origin of every negative emotion you have that Course in Miracles is teaching us. And interestingly enough, this is also how it is portrayed in Qigong. Fear, which is most yin, most inactive, most dark. Fear feeds anger, hate, impatience, worry, sadness. it feeds these emotions. That's why I always call it the belt of fear in the earlier lessons, that you want to let go of the belt of fear. You want to kind of purge the belt of fear to get access to who you truly are. And I made several lessons. I've made several Qigong classes where we are purging the belt of fear to get access to those virtues which are going to bring us back into who we truly are. That what we truly are is totally abstract. You got to imagine that God is like the source. It's like the fountain. You can imagine like a lake or something, or the sun. It's like the core, the core idea. And then from there, the thoughts emanate. And the thoughts are the energy which is flowing. So you've got the core. It's not even energy, it's just source. It's the thought which is producing the energy. It's the thought which then moves on. It's like the sun. The sun is the energy, and then the rays are the thoughts, if you will, which are reaching everywhere. And this is exactly the same what you are. When you meditate, you realize that there's some sort of a stillness. And the thoughts are the ones which are emanating from within that stillness. And those thoughts can be filled by the ego. It can be ego thoughts, or it can be thoughts which are thoughts of the expansion of love. And we want to return to this awareness of love, because that is what the source is. The source is love. It is light. It is benevolence, kindness, generosity, patience, certainty, trust. Well, trust is kind of which brings you back into it. And forgiveness is the tool which is overlooking all those negative aspects we seem to be surrounded by, which then help us to return back to love, overlooking all those negative ideas and thoughts we may have. I can give up only what was never real. We have now reached a level where when we're doing a Qigong class, we can apply our thoughts, our idea and our prayer in it. And I have recorded a Qigong class with the thought in mind, what is creation? But I am not mentioning it in the class, because it's a generic Qigong class for anybody to do it. And I'm inviting you to do the generic Qigong class with me, or the seated Qigong class where you can undo the fear. I'm suggesting to you to do the standing Qigong class in the morning and to do the seated class in the evening. And you can repeat any of those classes as many times as you want during the week or month or year to come. The seated class is really for you to let go of this belt of fear and remember who you truly are, namely love. And the standing class is for you to do exercise at the same time and get into a nice meditative state while you're doing a moving meditation. So here is this generic Qigong class I recorded with what is creation in mind. Here you have a seated class to undo fear. Here you have got the reading with me of what is creation. And here is a list of Qigong classes if you would like to do another one. Love, light and Qi to you.